Welcome to the Bearcast. This is Mike Quinlan along with Jason Miller. We're up here on our Thursday night practice, a breezy but dry evening, Jason. May not be tomorrow night. The Bears will host the Durant Wildcats week 8, and with the win, the Bears are obviously going to be in the playoffs, but we just don't know where.
The Bears have already qualified. At worst case scenario, they're going to be the 3 seed, Mike. And then that's where the fun of the math comes in. The Bears win, not saying they won't. Hypothetically, Bears win by 17 plus or more. That's the first piece of the puzzle that needs to happen. Then at worst, still, there's a chance they could still be the 3 seed if Regina and Wilton. That's where it comes in next. Right. Regina beats Wilton by 1, 2, or 3 points, and West Branch wins by 17 or more. West Branch will be the 3 seed. If Regina wins by 4 points exactly and West Branch wins by 17 or more, West Branch is your number 1 seed in the district. If Wilton wins outright, West Branch is the number 2 seed no matter what, based off head-to-head with Regina. If Regina wins by more than 4 points, West Branch is the number 2 seed. It's all kind of fun. It's all kind of math, but first things first. Hopefully West Branch and Durant is the team on the schedule.
And more importantly, it's going to be senior night. That's always special for this group that's really put in a lot of work. We got our burning of the boot tonight that will be very special. But, yeah, the Bears need to bounce back from that Wilton game and really show up. And granted, Durant, I don't think they've won a game yet.
They have not, and they haven't scored a lot of points in the district. That unfortunately, right now they're sitting in the last place, I think. It's at small schools. We'd be remiss, Mike, if we didn't mention Nolan DeLong. Because, obviously everybody in Durant is thinking about it, and everybody outside of Durant remembering him. Right. You don't just replace a kid that rushed for over 6,000, almost 7,000 yards in Iowa high school football the next year and hope to get back to where you were. West Branch saw that a few, 6, 7 years ago. You don't just replace Luke Lennox, who ran for 6,100 yards. Yeah. It just doesn't happen. But they're going to come up. They're going to come to West Branch, and they want nothing more than to ruin senior night. That's what they want to do.
Well, and the other thing for the Bears is we're going to be missing some key players tomorrow night. We got some injuries. Reese Trepanier hurt his finger last week. Capper dislocated his elbow or broke his elbow. Keaton Gates is on the sideline on a scooter. We lost Jake Swisher this week, who was a good receiver for us, and we're not sure if Joe Heyman's going to be able to make it back for the game.
When you're a small school, the West Branch this year, we always talked about their numbers, Mike. We've talked about it all year. They've got numbers, but boy, they've been lucky through the years that injuries have not been caught up to them this year right now. Unfortunately, they're kind of catching up, and it's maybe not the best. There's never a good time to have it. Right now might be the worst time, but we'll see how it goes. Time will tell. Maybe these kids will have an opportunity to play.
Well, and you just can't take 5 guys that have started throughout the season and not play them on the last one, and your special teams loses some depth. So luckily we got some very good backups, some fresh soft kids that are going to step up and get some playing time tomorrow. But if the Bears do what they need to do, which is control the line of scrimmage, Brendan Dale gets to passing the ball good, they should be able to take care of business.
And that's the best part, I think, when you talk about that physicality, which we have every week, but specifically when the weather forecast right now is saying it's not your favorite weather forecast, it's going to be a lot of rain. For you, you'll stay dry. Matt will stay dry. I will probably stay dry up in the press box. But on the field, there are going to be some wet conditions, and the big fellas up front are going to be the key, controlling the ball control. Time might run, but you also can wear a team down like that.
Well, and usually with rain, that hinders the passing game as much as anything. So
before we go, Mike, I got a fun question for you, and maybe we'll even ask Matt. He's standing over here too. Okay. Through 7 weeks, from the beginning of this season till now, what has been one of your most interesting, fun, or favorite memories of this team so far?
Well, I think obviously the Regina game was a big one. It was a hype, and the Columbus Catholic game going up there 0-2 and facing them 2-0 and ranked. And, we've talked all season long. 5 out of our 8 opponents have been ranked. So, it's just been a really difficult year for the Bears as far as just the toughness of the schedule. But the team's really hung in there.
Yeah, I think week 3 up at Columbus Catholic, you mentioned it, Mike, is kind of, at least so far, the standout for me of the season. It's the team was down, lost the first 2 games, still had a lot of question marks, I think, is trying to figure out their identity and how they can be successful, on both sides of the ball. And then they come up there. They had, some events happen earlier that week. They come Friday, go up to Waterloo, that long drive against a really good Columbus Catholic team, and just seemed like everything clicked. There was a lot of guys that stepped in for guys that weren't able to play and just did really, really well. And I think this team really found their identity there in week 3.
And Mike, I'll give you this stat, and then you can close it off. I agree with you both. That Columbus Catholic game was a big one. It's always tough to go on the road after losing 2 games and to do it against a very, arguably, if they play their best, I don't know who can beat Columbus Catholic. They athletically are as good as any I've ever seen.
Yeah, so we're getting ready for senior night tomorrow night. West Branch will be hosting the Durant Wildcats. So come on out. If you can't make it out, jump on the Bearcast and watch the live stream.
Stay dry.
And stay dry. So on behalf of Jason Miller, this is Mike Quinlan and the Bearcast saying, Go Bears.